Welcome to the Healing Our Sight podcast. I'm your host, Denise Allen, and today I have as my guest Louis Fontaine, who is going to tell us his success story, which I'm really excited about. And let me tell you a little bit about him. He is a real estate broker and owner of Millenia Real Estate with 29 years of real estate, mortgage, and title experience, specializing in REO, short sales, and probate sales. He has successfully closed over 2,000 real estate transactions. He's represented most major banks, lending institutions, land banks, and outsourcers, including Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, assisting them with their defaulted real estate asset disposition. As a member of the Ventura County Bar Association, he works with attorneys and their clients whenever real property is involved and needs to be sold. In his spare time, Louis volunteers at the Ventura County Legal Aid Clinic. He and his wife, Julie, have 2 adult sons and 2 grandsons. He successfully recovered from open heart surgery 18 months ago. He exercises 5 days a week, swing dances regularly with his wife, and is active in his church. He enjoys playing the blues harmonica and riding motorcycles, and he's extremely grateful to have his eyesight back. Hi,
Hi,
Louis.
hi, Denise. I certainly am very happy to have my eyesight there.
I'm very excited to hear your journey today. So, we're going to get right into it. Tell us a little bit about what your vision was like before you started vision therapy, kind of the timeline of what led to you having issues and then finding this kind of solution.
After most of us turned 40, we need reading glasses. So that was about as bad as my eyesight was. I needed glasses for reading and computer work, that sort of stuff. And then in 2005, one morning out of nowhere, my left eye turned in all by itself. And to this very day, we don't know what caused it. There's nothing wrong with my vision. Well, I should say my eyes. There's nothing wrong with my eyes. So they couldn't pinpoint anything and say, well, gee, this is what caused it. And in the beginning, when I acquired double vision, my vision was so bad I couldn't see anything beyond 2 feet in front of me. Anything beyond 2 feet was double.
Mm.
And I went to see doctors and optometrists that I was sent to by my personal doctor, and I landed up at UCLA with a neuro ophthalmologist who basically told me the same thing. There's nothing wrong with your eyes. They don't know what caused it. And I asked him, well, now that we know that I had this, what can we do about it? And he says, well, there's nothing you can do about it. And this was in '05. He says, I've heard that there's some type of surgery for this, but I don't recommend it. And so I lived with it for many, many years.
How did you
And
function with constant double vision for all that time frame?
well, we, we kind of get accustomed to it. And from what I've heard recently is that your brain kind of zones out the eye that's having a problem. So my right eye is my dominant eye. While driving and while doing other activities that require uh, single vision, my
Hmm.
left eye would, I guess, without me knowing, inadvertently would just stop working.
Hmm.
And so that's how I got around. And constant headaches naturally because my eyes were always trying to converge. And just the inconvenience of having double vision limited me to activities that I was doing. I realized that my left eye had stopped working properly was when I went to get a pair of reading glasses. And what led me there was a doctor in Los Angeles that specialized in vision therapy. I made an appointment with her. I went in and she prescribed glasses, not just for reading, but also for far vision. And when I put those on, it intensified my double vision because now both eyes are working at full level.
Ah.
And it was very difficult in the beginning. I couldn't even drive with the glasses because my right eye can see very well, my left eye can see very well, but they're both giving you different readings.
Mhm.
And so it was like, ah, I don't want to wear these things. I
Okay. So the doctor didn't do anything to like with a prism or anything like that to help your eyes work together in
no,
that case?
it was a disappointing uh, event with her because we were going to start vision therapy. She had told me more or less what she did. And when I went for my second, well, actually, it was going to be my first appointment. She wasn't there, and well, gee, somebody should have told me that she wasn't going to be there today.
Mhm.
Right? She set up an appointment. And said, well, we don't know. You're going to have to talk to her. So I said, okay. So then she called me the next day and said, gee, I'm sorry, but I can't take you on as a patient,
Mm.
this patient. So that was disappointing. And it's extremely difficult here. You would imagine in Southern California, there would be more doctors doing vision therapy, but it's very difficult to find. And so when I went to dispense the new prescription, the new glasses, uh, this one young girl that was there told me, I was telling her that I had double vision. And she said, I used to work for a doctor in Thousand Oaks, California, that did that kind of stuff. So she gave me his name and number, and then I got a hold of him, and that's what got me started on my vision therapy journey.
And what year was that?
2021.
All right. So in March of 2021, you found vision therapy. So at this point, you had had double vision for 16 years.
Yeah. Um,
Wow. That is a long time. And you
yes, it is.
yeah, and you didn't know before that that there was such a thing as vision therapy, I'm taking it.
No, because again, that the neuro-ophthalmologist had told me that there was nothing he can do. I just didn't even search it out. But now with, the internet now and there's more availability for information uh, for us. And so I started doing some searches and again, it's difficult to find. I didn't know about the groups on Facebook at the time. And so, uh, like I said, I found this doctor, it's just by chance. If I hadn't mentioned anything to the girl that was dispensing the new prescription on my glasses, I would have never known.
Yeah. It's hard to find something that you don't know to look for, right?
Sure, that's that.
Yeah.
And where do you start? Where do you start? I found doctors that were out of state that specialized in vision therapy, but they were out of state.
Right.
And I wanted to find somebody local that I can meet face to face and sit in front of and we can talk. I love doing business.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and so when you started, how were you feeling? Were you feeling skeptical or hopeful, or what were your thoughts?
I was I was feeling very hopeful because this doctor was familiar with my problem
Mhm.
and he specialized in correcting the problem. This is the guy I've been looking for. This is the guy I've been waiting for. And
Yeah.
when I had my first appointment, because my first contact with him was through email, and I sent him some information, told him what my problem was. He emailed me back, and he said, "Let's set up an appointment for you to come in." And so I did, and I told him my story, what was going on. He did a couple of tests. One of them was a Brox score he pulled out. I mean, told me, she said, you can see two strings connecting at a V towards the middle. He says, I can help you. And so that gave me even more hope. I'm
Mm.
like, wow, okay, good. Let's get started. When do we start?
So you could actually see the 2 strings at the beginning of your journey.
He says, if you can only see one string, then we may not be able to help you. But if you see two strings crossing, then that means that you have vision in both eyes.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay. Which basically you weren't suppressing the vision in your left eye completely at that point because you could see the 2 strings. How far out could you see them at that point?
I would say about 3 feet in front of me. And I was wearing my glasses at the time, so both of my eyes were projecting good vision
Mm,
for
okay.
reading and for the bodies. And
Okay. Can you describe a little bit of how vision therapy was for you?
well, this is what I liked about this doctor is he says we're going to have 9 sessions in my office um, once a week. So when we meet, I'm going to introduce a new exercise for you to do. So he'd go to his office, he would introduce me to the exercise, make sure I was doing it properly. And that's what took up our time together. And he says, now you're going to go home with these props
Mhm.
and you're going to do this in therapy at home. And I said, okay, how long do I do it? Do I do it every day? And this stuff. And he says, well, I recommend you do it at least 5 times a week and at least 15 minutes for every session. And so I said, okay. So with that information, I came home and I started my vision therapy. And I was so excited about it and so hopeful that I would do it a minimum of an hour every day.
Mm.
And it's a part of my life.
Right. That's a big commitment, an hour a day. Was that
It is.
in one session, or did you break it up into several sessions?
I did it in one session. Sometimes I would even do it for 2 hours, but not that frequently. 1 hour was pretty much the time that I allowed myself to do it.
How did you feel after you finished your sessions?
Well, the first session that I had at home, and let's see if I can remember what the stereo trainer power exercise number 3, I think, whatever that was. But I remember I did it for an hour, and I have an office set up at home.
Mhm,
So I did it in my office, and then I was walking downstairs to get a drink of water or something, and I noticed that, wow, okay, I can see better. Just
mm.
that one session, that even gave me more hope. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, wow, but see, I thought about it, and this is the way I think. If one session did this, I can imagine by the end of the week, it's going to be pretty cool. And unfortunately, it didn't work that way. Um,
Mhm,
my vision was good that evening. The next morning, I was back to where I was before. I
mhm.
said, okay, well, at least now I know that this vision therapy thing works.
Okay. And was there any particular breakthrough moment when you said, "Oh, now I know I've made it"?
Well, there's two of them. One of them was when I started getting my 3D vision back, and I was downstairs in my living room. Um, my wife decorated really cool in there, and there's this thing I can look at. So I look here, I look there, and one of the lamps that we have. the power cord that goes connected to the outlet, she put a decorative cloth of some sort. And so I was looking at that, and it looked like the cloth was sticking out from the wall,
Mm.
which I hadn't experienced before. It almost looked like an octopus arm of some sort.
Uh-huh.
It's the coloration. I'm not, but I just kept staring at it. Well, wow, this is pretty amazing. And that was one of them. Another time, um, my wife and I were driving to Los Angeles. It was during the day, and all of a sudden, my vision was perfect. I could see perfectly. There was no double vision. Even the asphalt on the freeway, I could see the bumps and I could see the lights on cars, the taillights. I mean, it was still during the day, and I could see the dimensions of the cars that were next to me and in front of me.
Mm.
It was pretty amazing. I'm like, wow, is this it? Does it happen like this? And I had read Susan Susan's book, not Susan.
Sue Berry.
Yes,
Yeah, Susan Berry.
uh, and she said that they had gone her and a friend of her or a friend of hers went to see a 3D movie, and after it came out, his vision was perfect. So I'm thinking, well, maybe that's what's happening here. uh, it lasted 3 days, and then it went away.
Ah.
So I mentioned that to my vision therapy doctor, and he says, "Oh, that's unusual." He said, "That normally doesn't happen." I go, "Well, it happened to me," and then it kind of teased me, and then it went away.
Uh-huh.
People thought took out of me.
And you had your goal of what you wanted to attain on a permanent basis at that point, right?
Yes, I was determined to acquire proper vision.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, and you had had that type of vision before the event in 2005, correct?
correct,
Yeah. So it's like, oh, now I can get back to normal once I have the vision therapy process work.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
You could see that.
And I was very hopeful at the time. I'm thinking, yeah, I can see this working for me
Hmm.
because now it gave me a little teaser. So I said, I want this. I, I'm gonna do everything I can to acquire it.
Okay. So tell us what the timeline was from that point on. What happened after that?
Well, I started in March of 2021, and I was committed to doing my work the 5 days a week, at least 45 minutes an hour. And so I was dedicated to doing it. And so I had an appointment with my oncologist, and then I was doing vision therapy. And so he checked my eyes, checked my vision, and this is about a year and a half into vision therapy. And he said, you know, your vision is probably good enough that I can prescribe uh, the minimum amount of prison.
Hmm.
So he gave me one, I guess it's just 1 degree of prison
Hmm.
on each eye. And when I got my new prescription and new glasses, I put them on and it was like, wow, this is very, very good. And so that made my life a lot easier. It was a game changer for me. And I remember about the same time my wife and I had taken a little trip. We were in Nashville, and so we decided to rent a car, driving from Nashville to Memphis, about 200-mile drive. It was so pleasant because I'm wearing these prism glasses, and I can see very well. My vision wasn't perfect, but I could see very well. And it was such an enjoyable trip. It was like, wow, this is what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
Not battling with my vision throughout the whole 200 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on and on and on, but
So at that point, you're in prisms, but you are still in vision therapy, trying to get your vision to where you want it without the prism. Is that right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that was my goal. And so I continued with the vision therapy, and the doctor told me wear the prism glasses whenever you're doing vision therapy. So because your brain gets, I don't know if accustomed to seeing that way was the way he put it, but he says it'll send signals to your brain that you can see properly.
Hmm.
That's why I did that continuously. Yeah.
Okay. And then at what point did you decide that you needed to do something in addition to the vision therapy?
Okay, I had heard about surgery, but I've never known or met anybody that has had the surgery successfully or unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
So then I started looking, I did some research, and I came across a page on Facebook of strabismus surgery, and then also the strabismus support groups. I joined both, and there was this one hospital, I can't remember, they were in the Midwest somewhere, that that were doing a lot of surgeries. And I'm thinking, God, I wish they were here in Southern California. But I'm willing to go out of state, but let me see if I can find somebody in Oakland. And about the same time, I had some health issues. I landed up in the hospital. I needed to get some a triple bypass, open heart surgery. So I did that about a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
And after my surgery, I started looking into surgery, the eye surgery more. And I believe there was Karen that I spoke with, and no, I know what I did. I posted on Strabismus support group. I said, has anyone in Southern California had surgery, and are we happy with the results? And Karen responded, and she said, I've had surgery, but I'm not all that happy about my doctor. So we
Hmm.
spoke on the phone, and we had a long conversation of two people with the same issue get to talking about this. They have a lot of stuff to say.
Yep.
So
And just to be clear, we're talking about Karen Rinaldini, right?
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Who my
And,
listeners have heard from before. So I just want to make sure I get that
and, and,
clarity.
and yeah, and I had joined the business group because of Melissa. I had
Hmm.
come across her website,
Okay.
and she said that there's support groups and that sort of stuff. So
Right.
yeah, so then I had a conversation with Karen, and I asked her, well, since you're not all that happy about with your doctor, could you recommend somebody? She says, oh, well, I haven't spoken to anybody, but there's this couple that have been looking for a doctor for their son who has the same problem. Let me speak with them, see if they've come across him.
Hmm.
And so we spoke about a week later, and she said, yeah, she gave me a doctor's name. She said, this is the doctor that they are going to proceed with. And so she gave me this doctor's name. She said, I don't know exactly where he's at, but Google him, see if you can come up with something. So I did, and as I'm Googling him, I came across a doctor in Torrance, California. Torrance, from where I live, is about 70 miles. And I figured, well, I can do that. And this one particular doctor had excellent credentials, great experience, great reviews, and so I decided to give him a call and set up an appointment with him. And I did. Went to see him, and he checked my eyes. Says, "Your eyes are healthy. There's nothing wrong with your eyes." He says, "But the problem is that your left eye, the eye that turns in, the muscle that pulls the eye upward is weak." He says, "It's a difficult situation because we can't do anything about a weak eye. We can't strengthen it. But the only thing we can do is to match the strength to your right arm." And I'm thinking, well, gee, wait a minute, that's my good eye. If if we mess with that eye, then I'm gonna, what am I gonna do if it
Right.
doesn't work out properly? So he explained everything to me, and I felt very comfortable with his instructions and his explanation. Now, bear in mind that this doctor, he teaches other doctors how to do these procedures. So that was another thing I felt comfortable with. And so I said, okay, let me think about this. I want to talk to my wife about it. And, I mean, I may need to buy a chain with a ring tip for the rest of my life. I'm not sure, but I again, I was hopeful about it, and I felt comfortable with him. And I'm Christian, so I prayed about it. And about a week later, after talking to my wife about it, she says, "How do you feel about it?" I said, "Well, that's pretty comfortable. I think I'm going to proceed with it." So I did, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did.
So, just to be clear, your vision therapy doctor didn't recommend surgery necessarily. That was something that you sought out on your own. Is that right?
Yes, yes. And when I was looking at the surgery, he was good about it. He did say, "No, gee, don't do that. That's horrible. You don't want to mess with your eyes." And then I asked him, I said, "Can you recommend somebody?" Because, he's in the business and he talks to other doctors that do this kind of stuff. And he did mention a group not too far from where I live. He says, I send my patients over there.
Mhm.
And so I looked at their website and I talked to somebody over there. And I didn't feel as comfortable as I did with the first doctor.
Mhm.
So I decided I would go with that. I also sent my ophthalmologist, Dr. Dr. Wright's information. I said, "Are you familiar with him? Have you ever?" And he said, "No, I never heard of him, but his credentials look great." He
Mhm.
says, "I'm sure that you'll have a good outcome in whichever way you decide to go."
Yeah.
But he never brought it up before. And the reason I started looking into surgery is because I felt I had got as far as I could with the vision therapy.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, well, gee, this may take another 4, 5, 6 years. And I don't know if I want to dedicate that much time out of my life. I'll do it if I have to, but if there's a faster way to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish, let me look into that as well.
Right. Yeah. It totally makes sense. I think that that's an important piece of the picture because, we don't often see doctors working together like we would like, you know?
Yes.
And, I mean, I had a situation where my doctor did say, "I think you're gonna need to consider surgery." But I think that's outside of the norm in this, um, care industry, you know? So I think it's important that people realize that it's up to you to decide what's better for you,
You
right?
know, not just with this, but especially with this. What I learned is going through my open heart surgery, we have to be our own advocate. We
Mhm.
have to do our own research because a lot of doctors are not up to date as to even in the special tests, spoken with cardiologists who have no clue what's going on. They
Yeah.
do tests, they open up their book to see, okay, what do the drug companies recommend? Okay, this is what they, so that's another issue that I have a problem in.
Yeah.
We really have to be our own advocate.
So then when you had the surgery, you told your ophthalmologist that did the surgery that you had done vision therapy as well. Is that true?
Yeah.
And what was his recommendation about that? Did he say, "Oh, you should go back and do more," or did he even bring that up?
No, he isn't a believer of vision therapy.
Mhm.
Told him what it had done for me. And then after my surgery, I asked him, should I continue with the vision therapy? He said, no, there's no need to.
Yeah, that's typical too. Yeah. So
I don't know if he can see that here. Uh, there's my Brock string.
ah, nice. Got a nice long one there. So how long did it take you after the surgery to go back to vision therapy?
Okay, actually, I just started again last week. I
Mm,
started with the Brock string. I felt some strain on my left eye, which is the non-surgery eye. And so I said, why don't you let me try some Brock string and see if it relieves a little bit. I really should be doing eye exercises anyway. You know,
mhm.
look it up, look sideways. And I don't. I'm just so happy to have my vision back there.
How long ago was the surgery?
I had surgery done the week before Thanksgiving,
Okay.
November the 20th. So it's been, let's see, we're in the fourth month. It's been about almost 4 months.
Okay. So you're going back to your vision therapy doctor now then? Or you're doing your own on
No,
your
no, I am not. I talked to him. Well, I called his office to set up an appointment to get an eye exam.
Mhm,
My my ophthalmologist that did the surgery, he says, go see your optometrist, get a new prescription because your eyes have changed a little bit. And you know, just let him know what's going on. So when I called, they told me that Dr. Edinger had retired.
mm,
Now, the other doctor that I had met before, she doesn't do vision therapy, but I didn't need to do vision therapy with him. And I have my outline on what I need to do as far as vision therapy, so I don't need to really go see a vision therapy doctor. So I went to see him to get a new prescription, and he remembered me and he said, "Yeah, but me." Uh, gave me a prescription, and so I haven't gotten it filled yet because these glasses here, my other glasses that I wear, these have a yellow tint to it, but
mhm.
the other ones are clear. And he says that those two pairs that you're using right now are very close to your prescription. And so I just haven't made it a priority to go get my own prescription filled.
Okay. So what did you notice as far as your vision function after your surgery, as opposed to how the progress that you had made just with vision therapy alone?
Well, I had a post-op appointment with the doctor the next day. So he just wanted to make sure that I didn't have any infection. Just wanted to see how I was doing.
Mhm.
So he drove, my wife and I drove, well, she drove, and he checked my eye. He says, your eye looks good. We'll just have to wait for it to heal. His future was still in there. And I told him, I said, Doc, you know, my vision looks, I still see double, but like the opposite. And he says, well, what I did, I overcorrected.
Mm.
See, now with surgery, it's not like with eye examination where they, you know, did you see better here? Did you see better here?
Right.
There's no measuring stick. I mean, They do it by centimeters. So I thought if I do this to the muscle, maybe 3 centimeters or 5 centimeters, whatever measure device they use, he says, based on the degree of the problem, this should get really close. So it's not a perfect science.
Mhm.
So he said, what happened, I overcorrected it a little bit. He said, normally we wait 7 days to take the sutures out when your eye has healed pretty well. There's no turning back after that. He
Mhm.
says, what I want you to do is I want you to come back the day before, and then we'll see what's going on. He says, I
Right.
can remove the suture and see what happens. So he said, okay, let's do that. So he removed the suture. He went in there and he stitched me up just about. And lo and behold, my vision was perfect.
Mm.
I mean, I'm talking about the perfect.
Wow.
Like, Doc, don't move, don't do anything. Nobody move. I'm not going to move. I'm going to stay here forever. And so he said, well, you can't. I'm like, "Ah, okay. So I said, well, let's do this here. He said, well, your eye's still healing. It may not. And so I said, well, thanks for the intervention. So I left that day seeing perfect.
Mm.
And then I could feel my eye as it was healing more, tightening.
Yeah.
And my vision kind of started going double again, which was a little disappointing, but I was hopeful. And so every morning I couldn't wait to get up. Well, to see that. And it got worse, but then it started getting better again.
Mm.
And so a week and a half goes by and my vision is almost perfect. When I say almost perfect, if I were to take my glasses off, or with my glasses on so I can see farther, I can look out my window and everything that I see is single, but there's a little blurriness the further out that I go,
Mhm.
which I can live with. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by almost perfect. I vision. I can drive properly. At night, it was a challenge to drive because of the lights.
Yes.
And I don't have that problem anymore. I ride motorcycles. It's so pleasant now to do those types of activities. As before, it was a struggle. It
Yeah.
was challenging. Now it's fun. I
That
could ride.
that is awesome.
So that's where I'm at now.
Okay.
And I started feeling some tightness the other day. And so I started going to Rochester. And then today I woke up this morning feeling pretty good.
Nice.
And and my eyes for about a year, maybe a year and a half, started feeling kind of dry. And I mentioned that to the ophthalmologist, Dr. Wright, that did the surgery. And he says, I want you to go see a plastic something something surgeon. If they deal with eyes, I want the doctor to check your eyes just to make sure there's no cancer or anything like that. He says your eyelid on your right eye seems to be pulling out of it. And so I did go and had my eyes checked with this really nice doctor. He said there's nothing wrong. I said, well, how come my eyes get irritated by the end of the day? He says, well, your eyes are getting dry. That's what I. So she recommended some over-the-counter drops, uh, that they call. But I started using those about a week and a half ago, and it does soothe my eyes and makes them feel better.
Okay.
I told you I could go on and on.
Nope, that's okay, it's all good. So, I was a little surprised at the trajectory, because it's so different for everyone. There will be people who, like Karen, had the surgery and then had to do the vision therapy. Um, Melissa and I both did vision therapy prior to our surgery. The surgery was recommended by our doctors, and then we had vision therapy after the surgery. So we had that kind of sweet spot where the doctors kind of worked together a little bit more, not
Right.
perfectly working together, but at least acknowledging each other, you know. Um, and in your case,
Everybody has their specialty, yeah, they wanna stick with their specialty, yeah.
yeah, right. And in your case, it was opposite where you did the vision therapy and then the surgery, and then you didn't go back to the vision therapy.
Right,
So,
yeah, yeah, and I haven't gone back with, I haven't since my eyesight is good,
mhm,
I I felt I didn't need to do vision therapy again or anymore, but I think I am going to at least have maybe 2 sessions a week or something.
mhm,
Uh, but my eyes, since I've been doing it a few times, my eye, my left eye, which is a non-surgery eye, feels much more relaxed. And then, a lot of times it's just a matter of looking this way, looking that way, looking up, looking down, just exercising our eye muscles,
mhm.
which, uh, which we should do anyway.
Right. Well, I think that's what people don't really understand or practice is just, good eye hygiene, you know? It's the natural vision improvement techniques that are taught by those kinds of, facilitators, that are into natural vision improvement, where we're talking about blinking more so that we don't have dry eyes and doing the stretches so that our eyes are mobile and doing the relaxation techniques so that they're relaxed, and
Okay.
and it all plays into how our eyes are functioning all the time, right?
Yeah, this doctor also had me do something else. He says, with all the gunk that's in the air on a daily basis, we live in Ventura County. I don't know if you're familiar with
Mhm.
California. We're between Santa Barbara and Malibu, and we're close to the coast, but we're there's a lot of farm area here, and there's a lot of pesticides
Yeah,
um, they use. And so he says, get into a habit of washing your eyes. He says, use baby shampoo and wash your eyes every morning or in the evening, or just better eye hygiene.
yeah.
And so I've been doing that as well.
Oh, good. So, what would be your advice for people who are wanting to do something to improve their situation with their vision?
Mhm. Don't give up. Don't give up. Be determined. It's your eyesight. Be your own advocate, as I said earlier today. If you speak with one doctor and you don't feel comfortable with them, go see another doctor until you find somebody that you feel comfortable with. And if for anybody in Southern California, I highly recommend Dr. Wright. He's the one that did my surgery. It may not be a good fit for them, but you never know. And
Yeah,
so you set an appointment to go see them. And vision therapy, get dedicated on doing your vision therapy and make the time to do it. And I, in the beginning, I was very excited about it, and I remained excited about vision therapy throughout the whole time, and hopeful at the same time, because now at least I knew there was something that could be done about my problem.
right.
And I just pursued it, and here I am, talking to you now, giving you good.
Yeah, awesome, and you're also on the support groups encouraging other people on there, I've noticed.
Absolutely, yes. And if anybody wants to talk to me personally, just contact me through the page on Facebook, and we can have a phone conversation if you want to do that. I'm more than happy to share anything that I've experienced myself with you and see if I can help you out.
Okay. And just to be clear, which Facebook group are you usually on?
I'm, are you talking about what, your business group? I mean,
Yeah, if they're trying to contact you, do they just
oh,
go to Facebook with your name?
yeah, you can, search me up, Louis Fontaine in, Ventura, Millenia Real Estate, Millenia. I'm on the strabismus support group, and I believe I'm also in the, we should could check it real quick right now.
You're on the looking ahead one with Karen also,
Oh, okay, that
right?
one, yeah. All right. Yeah, any of those, yeah. You
Okay.
can contact me through there, and said I'd be more than willing to have a phone conversation with you as well. Anything
Okay.
I can do to assist anybody, because I know how frustrating it is to have this problem.
Hmm.
He really understands what we're going through. People look at you and say, well, yeah, your eye goes inward a little bit, but they don't see what you see. They don't,
Exactly.
you know, when I started doing vision therapy and my eyesight was better when I was looking down because it was closer. So I had a tendency to look down all the time because that was my comfort zone, my
Mhm.
vision comfort zone. And it was difficult to look up. And so I got used to looking down, and I had to retrain myself to look up, to look
Mhm.
at people's faces and look at their eyes and have a conversation with them in that moment. So it takes dedication. It takes time. It's not
Mhm.
going to happen overnight, but it does happen. It will happen.
Awesome. Well, that is very hopeful information. And thank you for sharing your journey with us today.
Well,
And
thank you
yeah,
for the opportunity.
it's been great. And I will put your information in the show notes too for how people can contact you.
From the beginning to the end, I would say it was challenging. It was exciting. It was educational. For me, since I only had one surgery, the outcome was very pleasant, very good for me. I've seen some people post on these pages where they're on their third surgery and they're still not where they're supposed to be. I feel bad for anyone that has to go through that many surgeries, but what else could we do? For me, my first surgery was a very good outcome, and I'm happy with the outcome. Thank God that
Yeah.
I, if I would have had one surgery and I didn't get the outcome that I was looking for, I would be willing to do a second surgery and a third surgery if I had to, just to get as close to having single vision as possible.
So I guess my question when you say that is, do you feel like it's the surgery that gave you the outcome, or do you think it was the combination? Because I feel like a lot of people are doing only surgery. They're not doing any functional work with their, vision therapy doctor involved. And so is it really reasonable to say, oh, if surgery didn't work the first time, I'm going to do it again and I'm going to do it again?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, maybe that was not the correct thing to say. I believe it was a combination of the vision therapy and the surgery.
Mhm.
Mm,
Well, everyone's story is different, and I personally didn't have any surgery as a child. And I thought I was just gonna do the vision therapy and everything would be good, but I couldn't bring my eye out to where it needed to be. And so I had the surgery and then I had more vision therapy.
and you're good now?
Yeah, now I see in 3D.
Okay, that's a very good.
Yeah.
So then now another thing I want to say, I'm 72 years of age, so don't let age become a problem for you. But this state of my life, I want to live a good life. So I decided to do all these things.
So the
So,
other takeaway here is it's never too late.
you know, never too
Awesome. I think that's a good note to end on.
very good. Thank you again for the opportunity to give you my story.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Healing Our Sight podcast. I'd love to hear from you. Please share and also join our Facebook community at Healing Our Sight to leave suggestions or comments. Have a great day.